Islam is the intellectual reason, and that's why they accepted it. So what would you say? Do you guys believe in God? That's what I wanted to ask.
I don't.
You don't. What about no? Would you guys say you're like hardcore atheist or agnostic? What would you describe yourself as?
No, I would say I'm hardcore.
You would say you're hardcore.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't. Okay. So you. Do you know the steps? People go from atheist to agnostic to deist to theist, and theist is like almost you kind of believe like there's a supreme being, but you're not sure. And then theist is like, yeah, you believe in God, but you're not sure of what God is. So I'd say, actually, I'm going to be a bit controversial. I wouldn't be controversial, but I'd say when atheist says we don't believe in God, they literally say the first testimony of Islam. Because do you know what our testimony is? We say there's no God, but we add the following bit. We say there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. Where atheist says there's no God. Do you say? So I would say to you guys, respectfully, follow the Islamic testimony and say there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. And when we say Allah, I don't like to use the word God because it has a negative connotation. Because God can mean multiple, like goddess and so on, and it can be either male or females, where Allah is just a unique singular and he has no gender attached to it. Because from a Christian point of view, if you say God is a man, someone may say, why can't God be a daughter? Do you see? Or why can't God be an uncle or mother or father? Where we say God is nothing like the human beings. He's one and unique, he has no gender. And actually there's a beautiful verse in chapter of the Quran, chapter 112. The Quran is 114 chapters. So 112 says basically, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, say God is one, unique, and there's nothing like to him. He doesn't begot, no one has given birth to him, and he doesn't begot. And he's unique, he's nothing like. I've just paraphrased there. So what do you guys think of that concept of God? A God that is all-knowing, all-being, that created the universe. He's not a son, he's not a daughter, he's not an uncle, none of that. He's not a tripod, he's not an iPhone. What is that? He's the ultimate being.
It does. I can see why it makes sense for like a lot of people, definitely. I feel like you're right about like parents and like when you're in a family that's like, my family's atheist, so I feel like I've always just been born. I feel like you're born into.
No, but atheism, no one is born and believing that nothing has caused the universe. You see, when we're a child, the reason why we say everyone is born and being a Muslim, we say everything actually surrounding us is also Muslim. We say the tree is a Muslim. You know why we say the tree is a Muslim? The tree, the sun and the moon, because they're only following law of nature. So anything that is following law of nature is submitting to his own, the creator, by definition, the creator that created. So as a child, you submitted to your creator. You cried when you feel like crying. You pooed like you've time for napping, and then slowly you learned and been socialized and so on. And we believe also, anyone who dies from the age of knowing right from wrong, so age of 15, 14, before Islam was exposed to you, if you die, you go straight to heaven. Where Christianity dooms everyone and says every child, regardless of what ethnic background you're born to, you're doomed, you're born with sin. And it doesn't make any sense to you. Like, why would a child that is just literally one week or 1 month, age of 1 month, be a sinner? What have they committed to be a sinner? Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But does it make sense to say every child is born with a sin?
It makes sense to say that every child is born with a sin.
Yeah. No? It's like having a bank account. You literally open a bank account and they already put you on minus £500. So it doesn't make sense. So we say God doesn't people are not born with sin. Sins and your actions will be only judged upon when you know right from wrong and when the truth is exposed to you. So we don't believe also, Islam is the only religion that says people that are born with mental defects, with disabilities, they're not countable. So it says, for instance, the pen is lifted upon when you go crazy. So for instance, you are a normal person, then suddenly you have mental health and we don't believe that person will be judged upon the actions that they do as soon as they lose their insane. Those that haven't heard the message, someone who lives in the North Pole or South Pole haven't heard about anything about Islam, we don't believe they're accountable for that as well. They will be tested separately on the day of judgment because they haven't heard the message. Because you can say, God, I haven't heard about Islam. So in Islam, in essence, is basically believing God, and we believe God have communicated with people. What do you think of God communicating with people? Do you think,
What do you mean?
like, if there was a creator that created the universe, would it say logically then this creator, in order for us to know that this creator created us, it's only befitting to say this creator had to communicate with us? Would you say that makes sense? Or?
I say it makes sense that they should communicate like with those that follow them.
Yeah. Because obviously, if you were to create, say, a machine, you know that machine, why you created for, and you put out a manual and how to use it and so on. So what we say is the creator created the creation, and then just didn't leave them alone like an absent father. He gave them morals and guidance so they would know the creator. And the creator have chosen prophets and messengers that are sent upon throughout time. And then these prophets and messengers would do miracles and performs miraculous things and perform miracles to show that the creator exists and to show evidence and proof. Yeah. Do you know anything like the prophets and messengers? Or like, have you heard of like Moses, Noah? I'm sure you heard of those.
Yeah.
So in Islam we have those same guys as well, but their stories is slightly different. But we believe in the last prophet is basically Muhammad, and we don't believe those messengers and prophets actually came for different religions. All of them were preaching Islam basically. So they were preaching the oneness of God and to worship God. So they didn't come out with separate messages. They were all giving out one message, but the message got lost when they pass away or when they're gone, and then God will send another prophet. So we believe in Jesus as well. But may I ask you guys, how do you, last question, how do you, and perhaps I can ask individually, what do you think caused the universe? Like, because I say God, the creator caused it. This is my belief. The creator caused it, and the creator is uncreated, and he has is intelligent, he is conscious, and all of that. So with you guys, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm out to leave. I feel so hungover.
No worries. What would you guys say? Oh, you have to go. Okay, no worries. No worries. وياك أخي, how are you? وريها. No, but like if they don't answer,
it's good though when they listen.
Yeah. Oh, she has a lot of hangover. She almost collapsed.
So Ricardo really emphasizes, he said we shouldn't, well, other scholars have said we shouldn't use the word monotheism because it's just not helpful. Because monotheism has come to the idea that there is a belief in one God, belief in one day. Jewish monotheism, which Ricardo was really emphasizing, is worship is sacrifice to one God. And that's what makes us monotheistic. So what I'm trying to say to you is that there is an emphasis that there is